What's up, everyone? Tyler DeLuca back here for another week of my top 3 takeaways from this past week in women's basketball. Let's dive right in. If it wasn't already, the number 2 spot is absolutely cursed this year. It's insane the amount of turnover that we have seen at the number 2 ranking. The whole top 10 outside of South Carolina has just been kind of constantly shifting, rotating where people's positions are, and that was no different in this past week in women's basketball. Number 2, Iowa gets upset on the road against unranked Nebraska. Now, Nebraska is a very solid team, so this isn't the craziest upset of all time by any means, but definitely an upset. And not only do they get the upset, yes, Caitlin Clark got her 1,000th assist, but she didn't get the scoring record. She needed 39 points on the day. She ended with an incredible stat line of 31 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists. But this is now the 5th team since January 15th that have been ranked number 2. That's ridiculous, y'all. That's ridiculous that we've seen that much turnover consistently in this season, and I love it. I love the chaos. I love the fact that this is where women's basketball is at with the parity levels across the board. There's so much talent in the country right now, and I think it's so much fun. But there'll be a little bit more later on in this video about the number 2 spot, because I want to talk about the team that is currently in it. But right now, all I gotta say is the number 2 spot feels absolutely cursed right now in women's college basketball. I just mentioned the top 10. Let's talk about a team that I think should be in it right now. They're right on the outside. Oregon State. They are so incredibly underrated. I think they have one of the most underrated players in the nation in Reagan Beers, who's averaging 18 points and 11 boards per game on this season so far. She's incredible. They have such a solid team across the board. Yes, their non-con was weak, so I understand that it's kind of been a slow build in order for them to get to the top, and it really took them performing the way that they're performing so far in conference play. They have 3 losses, 3 on the road against top 10 ranked teams at the time of their losing. This has been an incredible season, a bounce-back season for Oregon State as a program, and it's time that we give them a little bit more shine, a little bit more respect. It's building. It's building. But now they've beat Utah both times in conference play. They've beat top 10, top 5 Colorado 2 times this season in conference play. USC, UCLA are on the way to play at Oregon State. I think that they, at minimum, split that series this week, if not take both of them. That's how confident I am in this Oregon State team. I think that they are so incredibly solid. And the craziest thing about it to me is that they don't have one senior on the roster. Not just, oh, there's no seniors playing minutes or anything. No, not a senior on the roster. So everything that they're doing this year is just another build. They're building right now, and this is how they're already performing. So I'm just here to give Oregon State the respect that they deserve, and I think that they are going to continue to gain more and more respect, and I can absolutely see them hosting when it comes to NCAA tournament time as a 3 seed, a 4 seed probably, but they get a couple more wins, and especially this week, if they can win both of these games against these LA teams, you're looking at a 2 seed type conversation here for Oregon State, and I love it for them. It's been a slow build, but a build indeed, and now they're seeing some of the fruits that have come with the labor of the struggles of the past couple seasons. But man, Oregon State, don't sleep on them. All right, well, I teased it earlier, but I want to talk about the team that is now currently the number 2 ranked team in the nation. They were my preseason national championship pick, Ohio State, because man, they're here. They're here. This is starting to look like the team that I was expecting to see from the beginning of this season. But they're finally here, and a whole lot of that has to do with Cody McMahon. Her performance over the last 7 games especially has been incredible, averaging 16 points and nearly 10 rebounds a game, and just has been showing a little bit more of that dominance that we expect to see, especially in that game, that overtime win against Iowa, that now has them at the top of the Big Ten with the destiny in their control. This is the team that I had anticipated seeing. Now, they still have their flaws. Sometimes the half-court offense looks rough. Sometimes I feel like that they're not fully playing to the highest of their capabilities until the end of the game. That's kind of just been the Ohio State thing recently, like the past, I think a little bit last year, and then going into this year as well, where it just feels like they're not playing at the highest that they could play the entire game, and until it gets into that crunch time area where they really turn it up. If they can just do that for 40 minutes, Ohio State would be incredible. And I'm saying they're the number 2 team in the nation. So it's coming along. The defense is there, obviously. That is what Ohio State is known for. They have the guard play. They have the star player in Cody Man. I'm loving what I'm seeing from them. I'm terrified for them because they're now in the cursed number 2 spot, though. As much as I love them, as much as I want to just be like, yes, they're going and they're going to stay there, you can't say that right now, win that number 2 spot. Every team so far this year, in this calendar year, has lost it. And they lose it pretty damn quickly, too. So I'm very intrigued to see how Ohio State handles that and if they can break the curse of the number 2 spot. But man, they're back. They're back. They're here. This is the team that I anticipated seeing going into the season more and more. They're looking like what I had pictured, and it's a beautiful picture indeed. Don't sleep on Ohio State as a team coming from the Big Ten to make some noise in March Madness. All right, y'all, that's going to do it for me this week with my top 3 takeaways in women's basketball. Let me know what your biggest takeaways are, and I'll see you next time.